Hello, I'm Colin Sullivan.
And I'm Carly Latcham.
And this is Almost Live, a weekly show designed to give you the who's who and what's what of Telluride and Mountain Village.
We're going to kick off this week's episode with an interview with Craig Ferguson and Brian Eister of Telluride Bluegrass Festival.
Patrick Legans, the wine geek food freak, is going to join us this week to make a lovely mushroom risotto. And then Kara, Heidi, and Julia of the Kodo team are going to take us backstage at this year's Bluegrass Festival.
We have all new episodes of Yoga with Barbara as well as Fuel Up Telluride. And we're going to take a retro ride back to the 90s for a Kodo lip sync.
Now I'm going to mosey on over and join Catherine Warren for her ever-popular Warren Commission. And as promised, here we are with the very first summer 2019 edition of the Warren Commission.
Yes.
With Miss Catherine Warren.
Yeah, how's it going, Colin?
It's going great. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. You always have interesting things to say about the different things that we can find at Bluegrass.
Yes, this is my favorite week of the entire summer.
Yes,
it's Christmas in June.
It's Catherine Warren Christmas.
Yes, it is.
So what do we got?
So there will be more on the festival coming up. We've got some of the promoters here on the show. But I wanted to look at the Elks Park sets. There's some really great highlights coming up. Of course, there were shows on Thursday, but Friday through Sunday we've got, obviously this is just a sampling, so go online to bluegrass.com/Telluride for more information. But some of my personal highlights include Chatham County Line. They're only set during the whole festival is on Friday at Elks Park at 12:30. And then throughout Friday is the Troubadour Contest, where a lot of singer-songwriters compete for the coveted title of Troubadour of the Year. And fun fact, Gregor Alan Isakov, who headlined Thursday night of the festival, he won this contest at the festival, I believe in 2007. Don't quote me on that, but that's what
we're not going to quote you on it.
And really fun fact about the Troubadour Contest this year is Emily Scott Robinson is a competitor. And
the traveling Mercy herself.
Yes, and the program says she's from Greensboro, North Carolina, but we all know she's got a special Telluride connection.
She's from right here. Go buy her album,
Yeah.
Traveling Mercies.
And then looking at Sunday, a really special set in the morning, Edgar, I can't say his name. Mr. Meyer, Edgar.
Goodness. Meyer, okay.
And his son George are doing a bass and violin duo at 11:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And Charlie Rose and friends play at 2:15 on Sunday.
Okay.
And I skipped Saturday completely, but Emily Scott Robinson and some of the other troubadours will be playing sets regardless of the winnings of the contest throughout Saturday as well. So check all of that out online at bluegrass.com.
And we should say, too, the Elks Park stuff is free.
It's free.
That? Yeah, so, that's the great thing is
Yeah.
that the festival programs this entire free venue where there's music all weekend long.
And on Thursday, Lake Street Dive played a happy hour set. There's just so much magic that happens in Elks Park, in addition to Town Park, of course, but Elks Park is so much fun. Other shows that are not festival related, we have Uray-based duo You Knew Me When. They've got kind of some shovels and a rope vibes.
Oh, okay.
They are playing in Reflection Plaza in Mountain Village from 5 to 7 as part of Music on the Green. And then a great jam rock fun dance band, Liver Down the River, is playing at the Liberty on Friday night.
Liver Down the River.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And then the Magic Beans come to the Liberty for 2 nights, Saturday and Sunday.
And what's the Magic Beans exactly?
They're a jam rock fun band as well.
Okay.
They played the Sheridan Opera House this winter, and they're super fun. And that's Saturday, Sunday. And then next Tuesday, Alex Paul and the Birds of Play is having his CD release party at the Transfer Warehouse. That's at 6 p.m. And part of his CD recording process was funded by the Telluride Arts Small Grant Program. So that's a really fun local Telluride music, Telluride art project there. And then next Wednesday, the Sunset Concert Series kicks off with orchestra, I'm going to butcher this, a Kokan. A Kokan?
A Kokan.
A great Cuban band. So that'll be a lot of fun next Wednesday in Mountain Village and Sunset Plaza at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, that's great. If you have Bluegrass tickets, enjoy the amazing festival. We're going to talk to some folks later in the show.
Yeah.
And support all that local music you talked about, right?
Yeah.
Alex Paul and the Birds of Play.
Mm-hmm.
Birds
of
Play
Transfer Warehouse.
Yeah, at the Transfer Warehouse there, and Emily Scott Robinson's going to be at that stage in Elks Park.
Yeah.
Right?
Great.
All right, let's head over to Patrick Legans, the Wine Geek Food Freak. He's going to do a mushroom risotto for us, and then we're going to hear from Barbara. She's going to do another yoga pose.
Hi, I'm Patrick Legans, the Wine Geek Food Freak. Welcome to another episode. Today, we're going to learn a very traditional risotto, a mushroom risotto. It's going to be a lot of fun techniques that you get to learn, especially how to treat arborio rice. I'm going to start off with some butter, and then I have some yellow onion. I like to do onions and mushrooms usually on like a medium temperature because you want to sweat them out. You want them to turn into like window panes for the onions, and then on the mushrooms, you want to, over time, they'll leach out their interior juices. That's one of the reasons why you don't want to add them until a little later. If you were to add them now at the beginning process, you would wind up putting too much water liquid, and you would stop the butter from being blonde properly. So the butter is starting to, not quite blonde, but it's getting there, and so I want to extend that life. This is the point where I'll add a little extra virgin olive oil. Just give it a little extra life. So we're using arborio rice. That's from the town of Arborio in the Po Valley in Italy. It is a high starch rice. I'm going to break open these husks right now by toasting them a little bit before I add our mushrooms. This is a very active process, this risotto. It's not something you put all the stock in and then you just wait and reduce. You want to just continually add warm stock, constantly, just to cover the top of the risotto, of the rice, because you want this high starch rice, the kernels themselves, to rub against each other. It breaks off more starch. This will have no more butter than what I put into it in the beginning, barely any. And watch how creamy this is going to be. And it's because of the process that we do, so it's super important. I'm going to add some mushrooms right now. I have oysters and baby boletes. Stir this in there. I'm going to add that salt just so I can start breaking them down a little bit. The other thing is I'm also, by stirring this and toasting it this way, not only am I cracking the exterior of the risotto, I'm also, by stirring it so much, I'm really agitating them against each other. Again, just releasing more starch. All right, I'm to a point where I think I can add my stock. I'm just going to add it to where it's just above the top of the risotto, okay? And then I'm going to constantly add it and stir it as I go. The more I stir it, the more creamy it will get. What we're going to go for here is we want it just talking to you, which just means a bubble every few seconds. Bloop. It's been about 15 minutes since you last saw this, and I've been adding that hot stock. I'm going to add that Parmesan cheese right now. We're going to save a little bit for the end. So you want to be pretty aggressive at this point in time. This is going to thicken this up really quick, and if you're not really active, it could stick to the bottom of the pan. And then once that flavor's in there, you're not going to get it out. And you can see how creamy does this look with no additional butter. One tiny pat of butter at the very beginning. This is a fair amount of risotto, and that's just because we've treated the starch on the arborio rice properly. So creamy, it's just amazing that it doesn't have any additional butter in there. I'm gonna place that right there. I'm gonna put a little Parmesan cheese over the top. I'm gonna take a little bit of that flat leaf parsley, just sprinkle for some color. And that, my friends, is world-class mushroom risotto. I want to thank our sponsor, Sidework Restaurant. And remember, good ingredients, a few minutes of your time, and some care, and you can eat like me, the Wine Geek Food Freak.
Hello and welcome to Yoga at Telluride TV. Today we'll be looking at a posture called Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, which is basically translates into extended hand to foot posture. This is quite a challenging pose, so I'll show you some modifications. It's a really good posture to build strength, flexibility, and also balance. Okay, so let's start with our feet together. Big toes are touching, spread your toes, lift them up, and then place them down pinky toe first. Then we start with the right leg. Place your left hand in your hip crease. Lift up the right leg, reach down and grab your big toe with your first 3 fingers. Now you can stay here and just practice standing here for about 5 breaths. If you can extend the leg slowly, 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 maybe all the way. Press into the ball of your foot so that basically your leg does mostly of the work. If you can, extend forward and bend down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look up. Exhale, we're going to take the leg to the right. You can bend your knee if you like. If you can, look to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, bring it back to center. Exhale, touch the chin to your shin, and then slowly release. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, step back. Take an extra breath. Left side. Right hand and right hip. Reach down and grab the left big toes. Extend the right leg as much as you can. This one I'm going to show you with bent knees. So, as you're ready, extend the left leg as much as you can. Fold forward for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look up, exhale. Bring it to the left. You can hold on to your knee. 1, gaze to the right, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bring it back to center. Now comes the tricky part. Exhale, touch. Slowly release. 1, 2, extend the leg as much as you can. 3, 4, and 5. Step back, take a couple of breaths. Samastitihi. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. This was Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Namaste.
And we're back. That was a great episode of Yoga with Barbara. I am here with 2 very special guests, Brian Eister and Craig Ferguson of the Telluride Bluegrass Festival and Planet Bluegrass. Welcome to the studio today.
It's nice to be here. Yep.
So I like to start these interviews off by asking about your Telluride story. And do you remember the first time you stepped foot in this Box Canyon?
Yes, I do.
Let's hear about it.
Okay, no. No, I came here pretty much for the same reason every day, because I heard there was something happening in the mountains, something cool. And I came here through my cousin, John Eaton, who was actually the production manager, came to be production manager of the festival for many years, but like back then, just came for the same reason everybody comes to Town Park now. This is the funnest solstice in the world, So. And once you come, you kind of get hooked.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I kind of got hooked, and so I came the next year and next year. And when I first came here, I was living in Arizona, working at a guitar building school, so it was a good chance to get out to the desert. But then I moved back up here, and it was pretty much, it's been every year since. It just kind of grown. I got kind of involved with the people running the festival because we owned a music store in Boulder and sold tickets, so I got to know a lot of the people that worked with the festival.
Do you remember the first time you stepped foot in Telluride?
1999 for the Bluegrass Festival. Pulled in the middle of the night. Got to have one of those epic wake up in the morning and be overwhelmed by the beauty of the canyon. And I was working as a software engineer and playing music, and I heard the set, the Tony Rice, Jerry Douglas set was the one that sort of changed my life. Went home and bought a dobro and became immersed in this world.
And you run the media and marketing for the Telluride Bluegrass Festival.
I do, yeah.
And you are one of the founders, or you took over from the original founders. I would love to hear more about that story. How did you come to be involved with the festival?
Well, back when I started coming, the festival wasn't really well attended, really. It was well attended by some who would come every year, but it just wasn't doing that great. So we basically had to financially reorganize and bring in additional partners and stuff. So some of the original owners, like Durfee Day, who lives in town, and Jane Dunn, who lives in town, are still our shareholders. And we had to find some other people as crazy as me that would invest money in a festival. In a festival, back then there were like 6 in the world. I mean, there's New Orleans Jazz Festival, Newport Folk, Winfield. You know, there was like a half a dozen.
So it's pretty
Now
crazy.
there's a
idea.
half a dozen, you know, in San Miguel County this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and there's festivals. Most festivals are way bigger than bluegrass. We see people come to that live in town. Wow, it's so big. And most of the festivals that have the kinds of artists we bring are 80,000 people and stuff, and they're just regular around the country, all the ones.
So Telluride Bluegrass was the first big festival that you were a part of, and from there sprouted Planet Bluegrass and all the festivals that we know now.
Yeah, we do 2 other festivals regularly, Rocky Grass and Folks Festival, which we started after we figured this one out. Because after we started to figure, every year you figure it out, right? Every year you figure it out. You just start over every year. That's the thing you learn about the festivals. But it was kind of fun doing the festivals at that time. It was more fun, a little more fun. You know, to start festivals and do something. Now it's too scary because there's too many of them. But so we kind of started the Folks Festival mostly from like, this is fun, this is cool. Still not really thinking that this would become an actual business. It would actually be actual jobs and stuff. But like, Brian chips into his family and I chip into mine now. It's actually almost like a real business.
Just a little.
Almost like a real business.
Well, this year's the 46th annual Telluride Bluegrass Festival. Beautiful cover, by the way. You guys will see this if you grab a program. I'm wondering what you guys are most excited about for this year's festival, Brian?
Wow, so many things. This is Sam Bush's 45th consecutive year playing the festival that Sam built.
Yeah, King of the
And
Telluride
I
Festival.
think it's going to be real emotional to see Sam walk out on that stage. He's playing with the house band on Thursday and then his own set on Saturday, as he's done for decades. There's some amazing only in Telluride sets. The First Ladies of Bluegrass are 5 of the most decorated female pickers in bluegrass history, playing together for a really rare appearance. It's going to be something special. Broken Mountain Bluegrass Band are they were a band founded in Durango in the early 2000s and played for a while. They all went on then to amazing careers. Anders is in Green Sky Bluegrass. Andy Thorne is in Leftover Salmon. Travis Book is in Infamous String Dusters, and this is their reunion gig, first time playing together in
I had no idea.
more
That's
than a
so
decade.
good. It's going to be really special.
Yeah.
What about you? Is there anything you're really looking forward to?
Oh, well, you know, when you ask that question, you know, the easy answer is the music part, but I think really the truth is the team we get to put on a festival with and where we get to put it on. Anybody could be playing the show, and I'd still be looking forward to that just as much. But to answer the question you're really asking, the musical part of Sunday with all the women is pretty cool for us, and then to see them do so well, and they've played before, so they're glad to be coming here just as much as we're glad to have them. So they're pretty psyched and bringing their families. So I'm kind of looking forward to Sunday as a
I'm
pretty
really excited
cool day.
for Sunday as well.
You know, there's so many things Brian mentioned, like the Leftover Salmon gig. It's cool that it's different than what they've ever done here.
Yeah.
You know, with the sit-down acoustic thing, and you know, Vince. It's time for Vince to get a chair, I think.
Yeah, they're switching. That's a new thing about this year's festival. Normally, they close out one of the nights of bluegrass, and this year they're having a nice, almost like a storytelling style set. So that's gonna be really great.
Vince has a lot of stories to tell about Telluride.
Vince has a lot. When I
gonna be
first
very
met
funny.
Vince, here's one of my stories. When I first met Vince, now do you know Vince? I mean, you've seen Vince.
I know of him.
He's very similar to what he seems like, you know, in real life. When I first met him, he was backstage security for the festival.
Oh, really?
You know, so
he worked for the festival.
Might have had something to do with the financials, you know.
And that's where him and his bandmate got met, right? Him
And
Drew.
members from Left Hand String Band, so him and Drew
and Drew.
met, and that's how the Salmon Heads in Left Hand String Band, who are our stage manager, actually used to play guitar in. And,
There's so much history in the Telluride Bluegrass Festival, and I completely agree with you. I'm so excited just for the energy of the festival and all of the hippies and the dancers and bluegrass picking and the sunshine and maybe some jumps into the cold river. But it has been a pleasure talking with you guys. And thank
What are
you
you
so
most
much.
looking forward
Oh, what
to?
am I most looking forward to? You know how there is always a dance pit that forms behind the sound booth? I think that's probably my favorite thing when there's a really good dance bluegrass set happening to go get my groove on behind the sound booth.
Okay,
the best sound
nice.
of the festival, and you can't really see the
See?
stage, but you see all the beautiful people around you. Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
You should be interviewed sometime.
Well, next up we have a episode of Fuel Up from Fuel Telluride, and I am so excited for the festival this year. Thank you so much for coming in, guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks.
Take care.
Hi, I'm Becca,
And I'm Ryan.
and we are Team Fuel.
And this is
Fuel Up.
So today we're going to work towards what's called a progression. A progression is just a series of exercises that help you achieve an exercise that might be difficult or something you're not used to. And today that's going to be a pull-up. Something that a lot of people want to do but struggle with. And for something that's so widely prescribed, it's pretty difficult. So what we're going to show you is an accessory exercise that will help you with the upper back mobility, also help with your posture and your scapular retraction in order to help you with your pull-ups and just your posture in general. So Becca's going to get down on the floor. This is called a reverse snow angel. She's on her stomach, and what we're going to bias here is external rotation. That's why her thumbs are up. So see, when my thumb's up, my shoulders externally rotate. We're trying to battle all that internal rotation from desks and phones, etc. So she's got her thumbs up, biasing external rotation. Her upper back is lifted, and she's going to squeeze her shoulder blades and make a snow angel motion back down all the way towards her hips. Look at that tension. She's got really good tension in her back as she slowly comes back. And for this exercise, I'd be more concerned with time as opposed to reps. I would say 30 to 45 seconds of time under tension here. Great mobility exercise that Becca's showing us here. And all that is gonna help you with your pull-ups. So we're gonna move towards a pull-up negative, which is our next exercise in the progression. And all this is in most exercises, or all exercises, you're a lot stronger in the eccentric or the negative motion. You just have a lot more strength there. So Becca stood up on the bench. She's gonna use a little momentum to get herself up above the bar. Her shoulders are retracted, good positioning, and she's slowly gonna lower herself down and work on that negative portion of the pull-up. And then reset, use your feet, head back up to the position. I would say rep range is anywhere from 6 to 8, whatever you can get. She's taking a nice long time getting down. You don't necessarily have to take that long. I'd say 3 to 4, 5-second lowering is perfect.
I like that one.
Good job. So now we're ready for an actual pull-up. We're gonna display both types of pull-ups, a chin-up, which is an underhand supinated grip, and a regular pull-up, which is a pronated grip overhand. Generally speaking, the chin-up is a little bit easier for people, although there's benefits to it as well. You get a deeper lat stretch and a little more engagement, so both are good. If you're starting, maybe start with a chin-up and work towards a pronated grip. So Becca's gonna demonstrate a chin-up first. She wants about a shoulder width grip, and that's an underhand grip. She's gonna hop up on the bar, dead hang. We are concerned with range of motion, so she's at full extension here. She's gonna retract her shoulder blades and pull up. That's a perfect pull-up right there. Chin over the bar. And notice she's got that retraction of her shoulders. And let's do one more. No kipping. That's a perfect strict pull-up right there. So we're gonna progress to a full-on pronated grip pull-up, the most difficult of the standard pull-ups.
You know, Ryan, I think you might be the one to demonstrate this. I think all of us are wondering if you can even do it.
I'm not sure. Let's give it a shot.
I think so.
Okay.
So Ryan's gonna step up to the bar here, wide grip, a little wider than the shoulders. And again, his goal is retraction of the shoulder blades. When he's attempting to get to the bar, it's chest to the bar as opposed to the chin over the bar that a lot of people try to achieve. Go ahead, Ryan. Notice how the chest is coming to the bar and he's retracting the shoulder blades as opposed to rounding and just struggling. Let's try another one, Ryan. Nice. Perfect form. Again, not kipping, swinging, but doing the hard work. Nice job, Ryan.
Thanks.
I think you've gained a little bit of confidence with our viewers.
Oh, I'm glad. I was worried. Well, thanks, Becca. Good job on your pull-ups.
And thank you for joining us on Fuel Up.
All right, we are back. I'm Kara Pallone, and I'm the news director at Kodo Radio. I'm thrilled to be back on Almost Live, and I brought the Kodo team with me. We've got Heidi Sarazin, who's been at Kodo for just over a year now. She does about 1 million things that I'm not going to list right now, but we'll be talking about the live festival broadcast here in a minute. And I also have Julia Caulfield, who is the newest kid on the block at Kodo. She's been at Kodo for almost 6 months now and is a reporter, part of the news team. And Julia, why don't you tell a listener, Julia, it's really hard to make the transition to TV from radio. Why don't you tell viewers a little bit about where you're from and your background?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Alaska, but have spent some time in Colorado. I have family who lives here, and I actually got my start in radio at the community radio station up in Boulder. And so now I'm so excited to be here, be in Telluride, and getting to be part of Kodo has just been a dream, to be part of this team and getting to report.
Yeah. Well,
cool little town.
I wanted to ask you, now that you've been here for almost 6 months, what's been a highlight of your tenure?
Yeah, I think it's not even necessarily, it is news related, but not necessarily like a story that we were working on. One of the days that I just really enjoyed was actually that day when we had the huge snowstorm.
Yes.
When school was canceled, there was so much snow on the mountain. Snowmageddon.
Snowpocalypse.
Yes. And for me, it was just a really cool day because we always hear about how like Kodo is such a central part of the community. It's such a vibrant space and outlet for the community to learn about what's going on. But on that day, I really felt it when we were jumping on like every 15 minutes. This is what's happening with the snow. Yeah. And then the power went out and we're out there getting the generator to work and everything. And so I think that day for me really kind of highlighted and captured the heart of Kodo and then the heart of Kodo as a part of the community.
Beautiful. And speaking of highlights, one of the perks of working at Kodo is producing the live festival broadcast. And Heidi and I produce the summer broadcasts. And the first one is coming up. It's a marathon bluegrass 4 days this weekend. We'll be bringing the sounds from Town Park all weekend long. So Heidi, first of all, what do you love most about the broadcast?
Well, bluegrass is probably my favorite festival that we have in Town Park over the summer. We're so spoiled with all the music that we get, but bluegrass has a special place in my heart. And I think my favorite part of the broadcast is getting to meet all these artists that I have looked up to for so long, and to get the chance to speak with them and have these conversations with them and to see, you know, how personable and how down to earth a lot of these huge names are.
So you wouldn't be referring directly to the Tedeschi truck stand, right?
You know, it was a way to start off. Last year was my first year co-producing with you, and I had the opportunity to talk to Derek Trucks and Susan Tedeschi, which I could be done with my broadcast career at this point after that. But yeah, it was, it's very humbling, maybe is the word, but yeah, it's been incredible.
I think the coolest thing too is just knowing how many people are tuning in all across the world. Last year we had someone listening from Peru. They were commenting on social media, which we totally got a kick out of. And people can go to kodo.org and listen from all over the world and on all of our local frequencies. Another highlight is that we're bringing, for people who can't make it into the festival, who are locals, who are working, it's fun to go into all the restaurants and hear Kodo, and they're able to still feel like they're at the festival even though they have to work and they can't make it to all the music. And
definitely. And something that listeners get that's kind of a special perk is the interviews.
Yeah.
People that are in the grounds at the festival themselves, they don't necessarily hear those conversations we get to have with the artists. So it's kind of a perk if you want to bring the radio into the festival.
Yeah, totally.
to catch those.
And we do our interviews during set breaks because of the noise level, so that's when it's kind of, a little bit softer noise level. And who are you most excited to interview this weekend?
I am most excited about Jerry Douglas. I get to interview Jerry Douglas, and I'm going to try not to be nervous. But yep, Jerry Douglas. We have Horseshoes and Hand Grenades coming in.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Leftover. Tune in.
Yeah.
Tune in to Kodo.org.
Just a tease.
Yeah. We're really looking forward to it. And, speaking of great community events, without our great local events like Bluegrass, Telluride wouldn't be the special community that it is. The same goes for TTV, a public access channel that depends on community support to help make the community great. And we want to give a shout out to a few of our most generous supporters, the town of Mountain Village, the town of Telluride through Case, and Telluride Ski and Golf Company. I think that about does it for the Kodo segment. And we're going to toss it to a retro ride, Kodo Lip Sync in the 90s.
God had long hair and a goatee, and if his eyes were pretty glazed, if he looked spaced out, would you buy his story? Would you believe he had an eye infection? And yeah, God looks baked. Yeah. God smells good. Yeah. What if God smoked cannabis? Hit the bong like some of us. Drove a tie-dye microbus, and he subscribes to Rolling Stone. God made this place. In the beginning, did he plant any seeds? Or did he put them there for Adam and Eve? So they'd be hungry for the apple that the snake was always offering. And yeah, God rolls great. Yeah. God smells good. Yeah. What if God smoked cannabis? Do you suppose he had a buzz when he made the platypus? When he created Earth, our home? Does he like Pearl Jam or the Stones? And do you think he rolls his own up there in heaven on the throne? And when the saints go marching home, maybe he sits and smokes a bone.
Well, Almost Live
Is almost over. But if you missed any of the show, never fear, because Almost Live airs morning, noon, and night on Cable Channel 12 in Mountain Village and on 1304 in the town of Telluride.
And now, exciting news, you could stream all of our shows online anytime, anywhere at TellurideTV.org.
You can also search our archives to watch any of our curated content from yesterday to yestercentury.
That's all we have for you this week, so we'll see you next week. On the way out, let's listen to some Yonder Mountain String Band.
That's not what you're after, that's only my name. Half that's my father, and the other half, well, the other half is just the way the bones fell. There's hell in the history, and we'll leave it alone. After all, it's a simple word, such a simple word. Oh, caught myself saying it was time to head home. Such a simple word to be surprised by. How'd I miss all these roots that I put down all around, all around, all around me, round and around. It's time to go, time to hit the road. Story about seeing the light, then off to the races once it starts to shine. Can't call it living, being this scared to die. Worth only a whisper. Are you satisfied? No, I'm not satisfied at all. Could it be that I've just come to love the sound, or the sound, or the sound, or the sound she makes? Come on, man, you're just in the way when you're around, you're around, you're around, you're around her, round and around. It's time to go, time to hit the road. That's not what I'm after. Dumb luck till I starve. And a life of complaining, of it being so hard. There'll always be shadows, and the guilty go free. So much room in a prison that I built myself, and I built it just for me. Yes, I'm right, yeah, it's time to head home. Such a simple word to be surprised by. It's time to open up your eyes and look around, look around, look around you. Look around you. Look around you.